Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Mortgage Punk Show. You got to buckle up today because I've got a really special guest with me, Michelle Leeper. And she's got quite a story. She's been in real estate a long time. And you've gone through bubbles. You've gone through business growth and development over a 20-year period, I believe, right?
18.
Or 18. And what I think is fascinating about Michelle is that she started real estate in like the worst year you could possibly pick in our lifetime to get into real estate, was it in 2008?
It was 2008, but if you don't know it was a bad year, you don't know.
So crazy.
So, yeah.
The housing market implodes all over the country, and you get into real estate. Mm-hmm. That blows my mind. I was on the way out, Michelle. Like when 2008 happened,
yes.
I was looking for employment outside of anything that had to do with a house.
That's what everybody has told me over the years.
No more mortgages, nothing. So two decades. And then this year, it sounds like you kind of have a comeback, right? Your production is in kind of a comeback mode from some previous high years. Right?
Yes.
Which the market just went way like this, and it kind of went like this. So, so if you're doing great today in this market, then that means you are a top producer. Yeah. Wouldn't you say?
Well, thank you. I would.
I mean, don't you think the bad markets flush all of the bad actors and all of the lower producers usually?
I do.
Ouch.
And, a few years ago, there were a huge influx of people that came in when there were multiple offers. There were over asking, appraisal gaps, and all of that. And then what we found is that over time now, it's not so easy.
Yep.
And some of the people that entered that market, that's exactly right, are like, this is too hard, and they've left. So it's the diehards of us that stay.
So if you're shopping for a great realtor, find one in a bad market, because the only ones left are the good ones.
That's right.
Typically. And I always say, Michelle, that when the market is going bananas, a bunch of order takers enter the market. And when it goes south, the order takers leave, and the people that actually work and know how to do business and sell houses, are the ones putting in the hard work and making it through the downtime. So
no, I agree. I always call them Pop-Tart Agents.
Pop-Tart Agents?
That's my terminology for that.
Where did this come from? I want to hear this. Why Pop-Tarts?
Just because if that phone rang, they jumped around, they didn't do any homework, and they went and showed the house, thought they were going to write an offer. And in those high markets, they did.
Yeah.
And so I just started calling them Pop-Tart Agents. I have no idea why.
If you're not really cut out for the industry, what do you think an agent like that does in a market like that? Like, what mistakes do you think they make, or what should maybe people or homeowners or home buyers know about those kinds of agents?
That they don't really have their best interest at heart, nor are they looking for some of the hidden things that we find in looking at a house, whether it be negative drainage or just things like that, or things that they don't always encourage a home inspection for, because you don't know what you can't see, right? The home inspectors dive in. I think those agents are just out for a paycheck, and they just want to talk about, let's put your stuff in this house. Let's stage it over here. What do you have? And they dream for them, and I just don't think they care about what they should be doing.
Good point.
So
I think I agree with you.
Yeah,
because it really becomes more like it's just very sales.
Exactly.
Like in the not good sense. Like,
right.
I think there's good sales.
Yes.
And bad sales, like the Wicked Witch of the West. And the
That's
Good
right.
Witch.
That's right.
The
There you
go. But it brings bad actors. I mean, Michelle, I got into the market when subprime loans were the thing. No money down.
Yep.
Barely any paperwork.
Right.
Just a pulse kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I think when I was doing loans in the beginning, we could just we could have a breath analyzer coming in the door. Just breathe here.
Yep. As long as you're alive.
Pre-approved. And we didn't even give out pre-approvals anyway.
Right.
It's like, you're good. Go talk to your agent.
Absolutely.
And,
absolutely.
But those are bad. Some of those people, it ruins things in our, ruins the reputation in our industry.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It hurts not only as as realtors. It hurts the mortgage industry. It just the whole ordeal.
Yeah.
And then it forces people to say I should for sale by owner because I trust
myself and I.
Yes, and and there's still stuff they don't know, and they're not protecting themselves from. So, but you're right. It gives us a bad name at times.
So I don't know about you, but I'm okay with the downturns because I just think it's just wonderful
Honestly,
for our industries.
I think it is. I think it is. A few years ago, not to sound conceited, but I didn't need practice writing offers. And that's what I felt like I got.
Right.
You're competing with 10, 15 offers and I didn't need practice writing them. But then it turns, and then we start really focusing. So I think it's good.
When the housing market is hot and it brings in a lot of, like you said, the kind of salespeople we don't really want in our industry. Have you ever felt yourself, I guess maybe back in 2008 and then as the market kind of started really going back on an upward trend all the way into 2020, when people called you that were working with some of these agents, you had to literally try really hard to educate them on, I don't do things like this other agent is doing, and the other agent is just probably negligently just whizzing through or, powering through a transaction, and you're relational. So you're like,
right.
This is not going to be.
The hard thing with that, because yes, that happened, but the hard thing is you don't ever talk bad about another agent, right? Sure. And you never want to point out all the mistakes they made, but you just try to turn those into, hey, let's go look at this, or let's think about this, and so yeah, it's tough. Especially, because sometimes you just wanted to shake them and say, you know what, but you can't do that. You can't do that, because at the end of the day, it's a very industry relationship business, and it's really a small world. I mean, I know there's 2,000 agents, but at the end of the day, it's a small world.
5% of them, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah,
the ones who carry the 80% of the transactions.
Right.
In the market, probably something
like
to that tune.
Yeah. So it's a small community. So you've got to be kind, and you've got to remember it's not your asset.
Yeah.
So, but you also want to steer them in the right direction, to look at the things they should be looking at. So as a buyer,
I like the way that you go about it tactfully, because I get the same thing. And I don't want to ever bash any other bank or anything like that. And I'll hear information and I'll be like, oh man, I know they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
But anyhow, I think that's fascinating. You got into this at a very interesting time. But in Wichita, from what I understand, when the 2008 crash happened, it wasn't as catastrophic as it was to the other states, because my wife and I were living in Denver at that time. In Colorado. Right. I mean, we had new home developments we were working on, and we saw housing prices go $150,000 to $200,000 upside down.
Yes.
Overnight.
Yes.
But that doesn't happen here.
It didn't. But back then, I didn't know, because I came from a business side of things, and I just wasn't in the. I just wasn't out in the community, I guess, and paying attention. And I already had a house, and so I wasn't shopping. And so, I just didn't understand. I just didn't realize. Yeah. So when I got into it, it was years later, 2010, 2011, and I'm looking back and I'm thinking, wow, that was awful. But I think you're right. Kansas wasn't hit as hard as everybody else. And I do feel that Kansas is always a little behind everybody else anyway when it comes to a little bit of that. Trends, yes. Yeah. So I don't know if that's because we're sitting in the middle of the United States or what, but I do feel that way sometimes. Yeah. So
I always tell people that are moving into the market that, welcome to Wichita. It might be a little bit more boring scenically here than California, but our economics aren't you want them to be boring.
That's right. That's exactly right.
You want boring economics and something fun to do somewhere.
Yeah, you can
find
travel.
It here.
You can travel.
Right.
So
that's awesome. I love it. So, okay. So I want to jump in to your story a little bit here, Michelle, because you weren't always in real estate. In fact, I think it took you some time, right? In the beginning.
It did.
What were you doing in your career before real estate? which was in '08.
Anyway, after college, graduated, and I went to work at Koch Industries.
Okay.
And I was there for 16 years.
Wow.
Yes, and in college, I had taken a sign language class, and I had taken a real estate class as electives. You always have to have electives.
Did you go to WSU?
So I went to Emporia State.
Emporia State, okay.
Emporia State. And so, coming out of college, I wasn't obviously going to go right into real estate with the,
right.
No
guarantee.
Yeah.
How much do I make? Well,
exactly.
I don't know. It depends on you.
Yeah, no health insurance, no,
Right.
So anyway, I went on the business side of things, and but then my husband and I, we started a family later. We were older.
Okay. Did you get married later?
I did.
Michelle? All right.
Yes, because I had actually moved to Houston for a couple, maybe 2 years with Koch, and then ended up coming back. It was Houston wasn't my cup of tea.
Okay, so when did you move to Houston, by the way?
90. Boy, I hadn't thought about that. 97, 98.
Are you kidding
time
me?
frame? Yeah.
So
trying to think.
I lived in Humble.
Oh, really? Yes.
For 2 years.
Really?
Yes.
During that time frame?
Let's see. I moved there in 1996.
Okay.
95, 96.
Yes.
I left, I guess, in 97, right around there.
Okay. So, I probably came.
We were like,
we did. We
that's
crossed.
wild.
It is. But, it wasn't my cup of tea.
It's hot there. And there's
my
bugs.
gosh.
Like
It
the
is.
front of my car.
Yes.
I couldn't even scrub the dang
Oh, it
bugs
was awful.
off.
It's hot and hotter. And so I had no idea I would miss the seasons. But just those changes and then I had purchased a home 10 miles from my office. It would take me an hour.
In
Right outside Beltway 8.
Yeah.
Off Westheimer.
No kidding.
Yes. And so I didn't get on the highways. I went up Westheimer.
I'm freaking out right now, Michelle. So the offices that I was an intern.
Okay.
And the offices where I went every day was right there.
Was right
off of
there?
Beltway 8. Not even kidding.
Oh, that's
I don't even know what
crazy.
it looks like today because that was like 30 years ago.
Well, yeah, I don't either. I don't travel back there. To be honest, I go to
kidding.
Dallas a lot, but anyway. So
What about food? Did you at least find some food?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, and the entertainment. But I'm going to tell you, the Chamber of Commerce there says it's more economical to live in Houston than it is in Wichita. Well, after I made that move, I thought I want to talk to whoever at the chamber said that because they're not
They're not accurate.
they're not accurate. But anyway, so I did come back to Kansas, and anyway, so then I got married after that.
Okay.
And so I was what was I? We got married in 2000, so I was probably 20. I think it was 30 now that I think about it.
Okay.
Anyway, so got married late in life, and then
That's you were just ahead of the curve, Michelle. I think that's like the thing. No.
I think so, yes. And my husband Fred, he had never been married either. And we met on a blind date, which both of us swear we never ever do or
And you
did. And here we
That's
were.
what
But
happens when you do that,
I
right?
know. There were 4 of us that went on blind dates that time, and all 4 of us ended up getting married, which is even crazier. But regardless of that,
With no dating app.
no
dating app.
no dating
Old
app.
school.
Old school. Yep. You actually have to communicate and see each other for what you are, right? Yeah, but anyway,
That's
and so
funny. Oh my
we
gosh.
so anyway, so we were married 7 years before we had Emily.
Okay.
And so after that, it was like he's a pilot and I was at Koch, and so it was like somebody needed to make a
some
change.
Good, solid career choices there. What did you do at Koch?
I was on the chemical side of FHR, and so I managed the logistics of chemicals on rail cars, ships, trucks, barges, that kind of stuff.
You're good at controlling traffic, it sounds like to me.
Logistics and management,
Logistics,
is really kind of what I did. I started out on the oil side of the business and transferred to the chemical side. A lot of opportunities there, and so, but Emily was not quite one, I think, and I thought we got to make a change because I would run to daycare, and it was I needed to make a change because I felt like I was missing stuff. Anyway, the daycare would tell us, "Oh, she did this today," and I'm like, "Oh." So anyway, we made a change. And so I decided, you know what? I loved that real estate class. That's what I'm going to do. So, so I went into real estate.
Everything.
They do.
And you have one, right?
We have one.
One. Okay.
And just one. It was that economic part of my brain that said they're expensive. And yep, we did one.
You're using a lot of logic there.
I know.
And you entered into an emotional career. I think home buying is the most emotional thing on the planet.
It
in my
is.
opinion.
It is.
And I'm a numbers guy, and I think it should be more logical.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyhow, so all right, so we're going to jump into your real estate career.
Sure.
But we're going to take just a second to thank Jason Hancock, which it sounds like you know.
Yes.
And you've used for home inspections.
Yes.
And Jason's one of our Mortgage Punk podcast sponsors. So I want to give a quick shout out to Jason, who's with Pillar to Post. So if you're out there, before you buy a house, make sure your dream home isn't hiding nightmares. Jason Hancock with Pillar to Post Home Inspections gives you the inside scoop. So that way you know that the house is solid. You're not buying a lemon. It's not a sketchy place. And when you're spending $100,000, $203,000, and $400,000 on a house, you got to get an inspection.
And very professional with photos and
you've had great experience with him.
I have.
He's a phenomenal home inspector. I get nothing but raving reviews. He's one of our mortgage. I just tell everyone that hangs out with us, Michelle, you have to be a rock star. I have a rock star brand, so you have to be a performer of some kind.
Right.
So he's going to take super good care of you. Jason, we appreciate you so much, man. Thanks for sponsoring the show. So you moved back to you didn't meet your husband in Texas, no?
I did
you met
not.
him when you came back here.
Yeah. Actually, it was before. We dated before.
The blind date
The blind date
was while you were in Houston still?
No, it was when I was here. And then I moved to Houston and he didn't come. And then I came back.
I see.
Were
you in a long-distance relationship then? Okay.
Yeah.
Is
So
that right?
Yeah, a lot of travel.
So like, what was the arrangement? Like, were you like, hey, I'm going over here 8 hours away
and yeah,
I
and
invite you, but I don't know. What'd you guys do?
Well, he actually came down. He was going to interview with the commercial airlines. And when he was down there, it was the day before he had 2 different interviews. And we just sat down at dinner and I said, I hate it here. And he's like, oh, I'm so glad you said that. I don't like it either. And I'm like, well, then what are we doing? Why are you coming here? So anyway, I just spoke to my supervisor at the time and said, you know what? I got to go home.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of how that went. So he was making that
move. It sounds like
move.
he loved you.
Yeah.
He was trying to rough it out.
He was.
In the Texas heat.
Ugh, awful.
And is he still a commercial pilot?
He doesn't. I don't know if I can say. Do I say who he works for? But anyway, he's more.
Up to you.
It's Murphin Oil. He on the air share Murphin Oil side. So
he's
a private.
Does he fly executive jets then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Challengers, things like that. But
so
anyway.
I told my daughter who was interested, I think maybe in the 8th grade, she was interested in flying.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, honey, commercial or private, fly around celebrities and rich people.
Right.
Those are your 2 choices.
Yes.
And it's a long road to get there. It's not like you got to rough it.
It's an expensive road too.
And an expensive one.
Yes.
So we went up on a discovery flight, and anyhow, she kind of shifted her thoughts a little bit. I said, well, just, you know what, make a bunch of money and you can buy a plane.
Yeah, exactly.
You can make a big hobby out of it. It's an expensive hobby.
Yeah.
Or you go down one of those roads because that's how you.
Yeah. No, exactly. You got to build hours.
I bet your husband has had a drastic, or has had quite an experience in that. Well, I don't know. I guess private airline wouldn't have taken the hit like the commercial pilots did, right?
No,
like
that actually
90s.
increased.
They got paid significantly more commercial pilots than now.
Right. And then during COVID, I mean, his world just expanded because nobody was going to fly commercial. Wow. So yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So it's been fun.
That's awesome. Okay. So we got you back here in Kansas.
Yes.
That's wonderful. The home prices are a little bit more stable. Although I don't know if the Houston, Texas market really has, I mean, there's some cities in Texas I've heard that are just significantly booming, like Austin.
Yes, Austin's a big one.
But
Capel.
Texas still seems to be a little semi-affordable, maybe a little more than here.
Yeah, I mean, some of the houses in Plano.
Well, in Plano,
it's that's
high end stuff.
It is into there. Yeah, but
I do like the Plano area.
Yeah,
it's fun. There's some good restaurants over there. So, so you literally made the pivot away from Coke Industries. You had a great secure job. You were probably salaried, if I had to guess, in management.
Yes.
And decided to go full commission, no guarantee in real estate so that you could be a little more flexible in your schedule with your daughter.
Yes.
Is that what it was?
Yes.
So were you planning on like just working a little bit and sort of being half mom? half whatever I can do in real estate, or was it like, no, I'm real estate 100%?
It was real estate 100% because everybody that I had talked to, because I had bought and sold a few times, I'd been talking to just different
you're
agents.
used to the process
Kind of the process a little bit. They're like, it's hard to do it part-time.
Right.
It's hard because your heart's not in it, is what they would tell me. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'll do it full time and I'll bring her with me. And it's one of those things that you have to get your mind wrapped around the fact that you're going to work just as many hours, if not more.
Correct.
I worked more hours, if you can imagine that, but they were my hours and they were what I wanted to do. And so that's what was successful for me. I still took her to a preschool when she was a little older, and I'd go into the office every day. But when she was still a baby, I would take her maybe 3 days a week and go to the office, and then the other days I'd work at home. But yeah, you got to be in it. I think for the whole time.
I was thinking about this episode with you, and I thought it would be very fitting to focus on relationships over transactions. Yeah. So I kind of like the way our conversation started.
Right.
As we were talking about, what happens in the industry when the market's hot and all these new agents and all these new loan officers and all these real estate industry professionals start flooding into the industry.
Yes.
And a lot of times just become, salespeople that aren't running serious businesses. And so
that's exactly it. Yeah.
And I know that you and I have talked about the importance of relationship-based sales, I guess, if you want to use that term, or relationship-based business. And I think we're in the people business. Yes. And I think real estate is 1,000% relational.
I agree. Because you want those people to trust you. I mean, they're making one of the biggest decisions of their lives. Yeah. And, that can be good and bad, right? So you have to help them through that process and care about it. Yeah. And even though it's not your asset, in my opinion, anyway, I feel like I need to feel like it's my asset and what would I want to do? And then, and so, there's different ways to represent people, and a transaction broker is one of them. And I'll be honest and tell you, I don't operate well there because I always have an opinion. So I just usually will not go there. Yeah. I mean, if they don't need help, then they need to go somewhere else because I don't want to get myself in trouble and give an opinion when I shouldn't. So.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, and I thought that would be a really good place to focus on in terms of your story, just relationships, trust, because people are making the biggest decision. They're making the biggest asset decision of their life. Most Americans, right? And I've got a little pamphlet that I give home buyers that shows that. I think it's like 83% of Americans, when they retire, all or the majority of their wealth is all tied up in home equity.
Really?
And their 401k is down. It's
really?
Like 14% of the average American's wealth is tied up in some kind of a 401k or an IRA or something like that. And then 83% in home equity.
Wow. I hadn't really given that any thought, but
Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
So I kind of look at it as like you said. I mean, you're helping manage someone's asset. If they were working with a financial planner, I hope they would be working with a smart financial planner who's trying to protect their assets and their wealth and manage it well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, so why do you think that a lot of people don't when they go into real estate, they don't treat it like a serious business and they don't treat it relational? Why do you think that is?
I think it's really because they're looking at it as, I'm going to make an appointment, I'm going to show a house, I'm going to write an offer, and then they're not going to buy or sell for 3, 5, 8 years. And so I'm going to move on to the next deal. They don't look at it as it's going to be a long-term relationship, and they don't look at it as being a trusted advisor, if you will. I mean, I have clients that call me now. They've been in their house 3, 4, 5 years. They call and say, hey, I need a concrete guy. Who would you recommend? It's that kind of stuff that I love. Right. Those calls later, things like that. But I think people that get in it to just get a paycheck and be done, they don't probably ever follow up with those people. Yeah. They don't, and I think especially new agents, I always say, a couple weeks after closing, make that call. Call them and say, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
And they're like, but what if they tell me everything that they found wrong? And I'm like, well, it's a tough call.
Yeah.
You've got to make that call, see how they're doing, because you should care how they're doing.
Right. Well, and they should know you care.
That's exactly
already.
Right. Right.
And then that call is easier to make, right?
Well, that's true. That is true. I'm going to remember that when I say that again. Now.
Well, so we got to do one more sponsor break here.
Sure.
And it sounds to me like you recently met my friend Michael Gom. He owns the Glass Guru of Wichita.
Yes.
And Michael is a hard worker. In fact, he came from the aviation industry in management. So he runs Glass Guru like you and I take our businesses serious. I mean, he runs a serious business. They do a fantastic job. They show up. They're Johnny on the spot. But they're one of the sponsors of the show. So I just wanted to take just a minute since you just recently became acquainted with Michael. Michael, shout out to you, brother. Appreciate your sponsorship for the show. And listen, if you're a homeowner or home buyer out there listening to the show, if you got foggy windows, cracked glass, Michael Gom and the Glass Guru team will clear that up for you quick. They have a way they can actually repair glass without replacing the whole window. So it's like a fraction of the cost of replacing a whole window. Although they can do a full window replacement for you, they can definitely fix the cracks when a whole window is not necessary, save you money, make it look super fresh, sharp, and clean, so that your vision is crystal clear. So anyhow, thanks, Michael. All right. So, Michelle, something I thought was really fascinating about you is that we know you started in the real estate industry at the worst possible time, but you didn't know what you didn't know.
Right.
And look at you now.
Right. Yeah.
Since 2008, you've been building a career and a great business. But I was impressed to hear that you closed 26 deals your first year in real estate.
Yes.
And you made Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
Right? Tell me a little bit about that. Closing 26 deals. How do we describe to someone that most realtors don't just get in the business and close 26 transactions? That's a lot.
It is a lot. And I didn't know one of those people before I got into real estate.
It's crazy.
I didn't realize, I left, Coke, and thought, I'm going to be so busy because, they always tell you when you start, have a sphere of influence and be putting them all down, writing them down and all this. Well, mine was huge. Had all these people. Well, nobody wanted to call and use me because they're like, you're brand new. You don't know anything. And I'm like, well, you should use those people because they have somebody that's mentoring them most of the time at some companies.
Right.
And they're checking on you. Right. But regardless of any of that, I really went to open houses, or I conducted open houses and just talked to people. I went to every class that they offered. I think my first year I probably had 36 hours of continuing education because any class they offered I went and took because I thought.
And you were with Wygant, right?
I was with Wygant.
Wygant.
I did start with
Correct.
Wygant.
Okay.
And I would hold an open house every Sunday, meet people, and it's all about follow-up. It's not about meeting them at the open house because you're not gonna get a great rapport in the 5 minutes that you're handing them their documents and
then phone call a week later or whatever.
It is. I always went back to my office that Sunday or at home, and I wrote them a personal thank you note for attending my open house.
Nice.
I would then follow up a week later, send them a little note saying, just checking in to see if I can help you. Here was where we met, and I would send a copy of the MLS of where I met them to try to help that connection of them remembering. Because sometimes, if you go to 10 open houses, you don't remember where you were, right? Or where you met them.
Or who you even met.
Right. And so anyway, so it was all about that.
Really?
And it was.
And not your personal network?
No.
You closed all of these transactions by meeting strangers.
It was.
That were evidently in the market.
Yes.
To purchase a home.
Yes. Isn't that crazy? I know.
Goodness.
Now I'm going to tell you,
I've ever met another realtor that has a story like that.
It was crazy. But now I'm not going to tell you they all weren't stellar. But at the time, the lowest thing I did in one of my 26 was a $15,000 lot in Newton. But I didn't care.
Something.
I drove to Newton, showed the lot,
experience.
Walked around, and you don't really have to show a lot, but when you're new, you do. You're like, let me meet you. And we walk around this little 3-acre lot or whatever it was. I don't remember how many it was. But anyway, maybe it was an acre. But regardless of that,
That's
I
shocking.
didn't care. I didn't care how much it was. I didn't have a minimum. Some agents, I don't want to sell anything under or buy anything under 100,000 or whatever. I just did whatever. And so that was my lowest. And I think my highest maybe was only like
phenomenal.
150. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter.
So you had an open house every Sunday or whatever, every weekend for your first entire year. And you generated all of this activity.
It was meeting people. It was, and they weren't my
Wowzers.
listings, right? Because I didn't have any listings. And so it was people in the office would say, in Wygand, would send out an email saying, hey, here's my listings. Does anybody want to hold an open? Well, I would volunteer.
Sure.
And I would get in there, and I always took treats, always took drinks, anything to start a conversation. And honestly, it's all in follow-up. It's all in follow-up.
So if you were just now starting in the business today, do you think you could do that and still accomplish the same thing now? That was in 2008.
That was in 2008. Oh, I think you can.
You
now, well, COVID kind of, it seized a little bit of our open house attendance, right? And so now we're starting to do open houses. I just did one the other day. And you don't have as many people come, I don't think, as you used to. But again, you can still do the same thing. It's all about relationships. I don't care if I have 2 people in versus the 15 I used to have. If you follow up and give that attention and build that relationship, you're going to be fine. And sometimes they come in and they have an agent. That's when you do not, obviously you don't reach back out to them if they have an agent, but you have to ask those questions before you know. So
I'm so glad that I asked you that question, because no one on this show so far has had that approach to having a blowout first rookie year. I mean, that is wild.
And it was funny because my broker at the time, it was Theo Hansen, and she sits, we'd sit down and she'd go over what you're doing. And I went in and I said, I am so sorry. I said, I'm just not very busy. I was so apologetic that I'm not producing for, you and blah. And she's like,
a new agent,
she's like, you're doing fine. And I'm like, oh no, I just didn't think I was that busy. But you don't, you didn't know you didn't know what you don't know.
You know what you didn't know.
Right.
That's why. And just to give some context here, for those watching this episode and listening in on your story, what is I think the average real estate agent, from what I know, closes around maybe $1 million a year in real estate.
1 to 2 million, I think, is what I've heard. But
which are in our market, average purchase price around here is, what do you think, Michelle?
Probably 250, 250, 300,
something like that. So let's say 250.
Yeah.
So that would mean the average realtor is closing 5 to 6 transactions a year. You closed 26 your first year.
Right.
You should be super proud of yourself. I'm impressed.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Well, thank you. I am now,
and
but I wasn't then.
Open houses. That's so there you go. If you're watching right now and you need a little fire to help you get out and start generating some leads, well, don't just show up. I heard what you said. You didn't just show up at open houses.
Right.
You are a connector type person. It's pretty clear to me. And so you weren't necessarily after the handshake, hi and bye.
Right.
You were after, how do I go chase and connect?
Right.
And try to establish some level of trust and relationship with someone.
That's exactly. And I'll tell you another way that I would do it, because you're going in and you don't know how do you conduct an open house. As a new agent, I would go to other open houses, right? And just see. Well, sometimes you'd come in and they'd be sitting at the table. Hi, how are you? Here's a paper, and never got up.
There's no engagement.
None. And so, I knew then, well, I don't want to do that. And so you learn a lot by watching other people as well, even though I didn't even know them. But and it didn't matter who they were. It was just how they do it.
It's like the difference between someone in customer service who just like mechanically says hi, next in line.
Yes.
Like I would never remember that person.
That's
ever.
Right. That's right.
And then, you meet the ones that are super engaging. Hi, welcome.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Sounds to me like you figured it out. So I love that. Love it. Love it. I love that part of your story. Real quick, a quick break here. Wanted to take a minute to thank Joe Warren. Sounds like you're familiar with the Warren family here in
Yes.
Derby. Joe took over Quality Granite and Interiors here some time ago. He's the new owner of the company, so he's doing a lot of things to revamp it. So if you're out there listening to this episode and countertops aren't just surfaces, that's what Joe would tell you. They're the stage for your life, and I think you probably agree with me, Michelle. New countertops, new flooring, that kind of stuff changes the way a house looks, right?
Absolutely.
Like the difference between home makeover HGTV and
Yes.
like old, out of date
Absolutely.
stuffy.
Yep. If
Listen,
you've got to pick, do countertops.
Yeah, do countertop. There you go. So Michelle just said it. She knows what she's doing. She's an expert. So listen, if you're looking for something like that, give Quality Granite a call. Ask for Joe Warren. Tell him Mortgage Punk sent you, the Mortgage Punk Show. Tell him you want to be hooked up because Chris advertised him on the show and you heard it. So anyhow, give him a call. He's got really just a full. I mean, he's almost doing full design, kitchen remodels, the whole 9 yards. So, Joe, thanks for sponsoring the show, man. I appreciate you big time. So anyhow, all right. Well, I wanted to take a few minutes to really dive into the difference between relationship business and transaction-based business. I don't think our industry should be transaction business, but I think a lot of it is, and I don't like that about it. And I just took a call from a new home buyer today, and I told him on the phone, what did he say to me? He said something to the effect of he had talked to another bank or something like that, and he's a first-time home buyer. So he's like, I really don't know. I don't know what to expect. I don't know who has what and why it's better or why it's not. Like, he just knows nothing.
Sure.
And so I said, well, I'll tell you what. The one thing that I can tell you, me and my team will commit to, is we will help educate you. And I think in my industry, that's one of the biggest problems is that banks are moving so fast through these real estate transactions that no one really stops and explains in depth in a way people can understand without all the industry jargon.
And electronic signing.
Yeah, and electronic
Just click.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really what they're doing.
Right.
Like, and so I said, well, I've got kind of a crazy brand and I launched it to be an education platform because I think that's the pathway to fixing my industry's problems are to highly educate, but make it really fun to learn about a very boring subject that no one would be like, oh, I want to learn about mortgages. I mean, no one's looking for that. You got the cool stuff, Michelle. You have the houses. That's what the people like.
That's right.
They don't care about this paperwork. They really don't like the paperwork in my world. So, but I told him, I said, we'll educate you and we'll work with you on what's best for you. Like, and I told him, I said, I don't need your loan. I'm not desperate. If I can help you, that's fantastic. We'll provide great service and take super good care of you. But I'm just going to educate you so that you have a transparent understanding on what a pre-approval is and what other banks do and why do some people have bad experiences and then you decide who you want to work with.
Right.
I don't need that, but I'm here to just connect with you. So I was kind of making a value proposition to him that was very relational and educational and not just sales and transaction. Because I think that's a lot of what my industry does. They try to just get the next sale. Get the next transaction. So anyhow, tell me about, what do you think about that? How does that come across to you? Because I know you're really big on that. What do you think? What's the differences? What sets apart a realtor who's really doing it right with relationship, based business versus the transactional ones? How would you respond to that, I guess?
I think you're absolutely right. I think it's just like when I go to a listing appointment and they tell me, well, I'm also interviewing, 2 other people. I'm like, okay, that's great. You should. Yeah. Because it's your asset and you need to work with somebody that you feel you can trust, that you feel will stick with you and work for you and with you, not working just to get your deal done, not working just to get it sold so they get paid kind of thing. And I think that's the big elephant in the room is, they don't want to say, some agents don't, they don't want to say, well, I do get paid and this is how I get paid and this is what I get paid, right? Sure. They want to, when they go over those seller nets, they just want to jump over that, right? Because that's the big elephant in the room.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you want to explain to them that you're getting paid for the value you're adding and the experience and the help you're helping them get the best deal that they can when they're selling and moving on to their next chapter. But I think, and I always tell sellers is, you know what? When I leave, I said, it was nice to meet you, whatever. And I always send them a note afterwards, a handwritten card, because it goes a long way. I mean,
so do I.
I don't send emails because I get too many emails anyway. So I always send a handwritten card. Sometimes I send something before. It's all about just making them feel like you care, because you do.
And wouldn't you say handwritten cards still, even in this high tech digital age, wouldn't you agree that a personal handwritten card goes way further than any other form of communication other than a phone call or in person?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Isn't that interesting how that
is, but I can tell
works?
you,
I mean, it does on me even.
It does me as well. When I open my mailbox and I got a card from someone, I get all excited. You know, you're like, oh, they wrote me a letter. You know, and I don't care if it says hi, just wanted to say hi.
Everything else is like junk.
That's right.
trash,
or
trash.
bills.
And then you see the personalized one. Oh,
yes. No,
it kind of hits your heart.
It does, and people, I say they just get lazy, because it's so much easier to sit and just type that email
or a text
or a text. Yes. Now some people started doing little video chats or whatever, but that kind of freaks me out, because I don't know. Anyway, that's just a personal thing. But I do anyway. Send the personal note anyhow.
I still think the card wins at the end of the day.
And I just feel like it does.
Some people might like the video. That's kind of nice, but I think the card has more warmth.
I don't know. I just feel like it's more touchy-feely to me.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And so, but I always tell them, you know what? I wish you the best of luck if you don't choose me. But I'd love to work with you. And I leave it at that, because they have to feel trusted.
I love it.
So
would you say, because there's going to be there's people watching this episode right now, Michelle.
Right.
Some of them might be more transactional than they think.
Right.
And others might be right Johnny on the spot with relational sales.
Right.
Which do you think wins? Does relationships and trust win in our industry? Hands down, no questions asked, over transactions?
Relationships.
Who wins?
Relationships always win.
So what do you do? So I'm kind of picking up on some things you do with the card. What are some of the things you do to send the message to a potential home buyer or seller that you are different than probably most other people they're talking to? And and how are you sending the signals? You know, what things are you doing? So the card, definitely, I would say that's one.
That's one.
Because no one else is doing it.
No.
I know that.
Well, and so many people go to these appointments, whether they're a buyer consultation or a listing appointment, they take their iPads. And I'm not saying that's bad, but they'll whiz through what they're going to do, how they're going to show them. Well,
It's like a product. Like, here's my product.
It is. But I'm a little more old school. I take my papers. I show them the postcards that we send out. I send out open house invitation postcards. And then if I'm talking to someone in their neighborhood, you know, not all HOAs are, you know, maybe somebody's having an issue in the HOA. Well, I don't need all the neighborhood coming to my open house from 2 to 4. So I tell them, you know what, we'll do a special invitation. We're going to invite them from 1:30 to 2. And then the open house from 2 to 4. Anyway, I just take stuff like that. I take the personal cards that you send, the personal invitations that you send, and then it's the follow-up later.
And you know the other agents predominantly are not doing these things, right?
I don't think they are. Yeah. I don't think they are.
And you think that sends signals to
that I'm taking the time to get the word out personally. And honestly, you know, when they get the invitation that they just listed, they look at it and go, oh, well, and they throw it away. But it's a touch. They looked at your house and they said, oh, they're selling. And then they may have thrown the postcard away, but in their mind, it's still there. And if they have somebody that they want to live next to, they're going to go tell them about your house.
Right.
And that's the excitement that we need. And the sign calls, I have a very high rate of sign calls, which is somewhat kind of crazy. But if I can get them on the phone, you always pick something out in the house that is intriguing enough that they're going to want to go see it. And and as we walk through the house, it's what you tell people is, you know, tell me about your house. And then when I sit down, I say something you picked out. And so this is something that you try to focus on. So you just connect yourself to them in the house. Buyers are the same way. You just tell the buyers. Sometimes I'm telling the buyers, things that we're doing I may go tour a house for you because you can't get there in time. We do videos. I mean, we just want to show them the things that the photos don't.
Right.
Because, we always take pictures of what we want you to see.
Yeah.
And so.
Do you feel that those are also ways to build trust? Because to build a relationship, you have to earn trust. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what are some of the ways that you break down the trust wall?
The trust wall?
As quickly as you can, so that someone knows you care? Because I would say that once they know you care, now you're no longer a transaction.
No, that's exactly right. Yep, that's exactly right.
As soon as they know you care and they trust you, in my opinion, it shifts from transaction to business relationship.
Yeah. Right. It's listening. Listening is the biggest thing. When you're out with a buyer, let's say, and they're talking about their dog, Boomer, let's say, I don't know.
Right.
Well, the first thing I do is I go into my contacts and I say, Boomer's the dog. And then they make notes. So you remember, because you meet so many people, you want to remember, right?
Yeah.
And then once you talk to them and build that relationship, you're going to remember Boomer. But until then, you've got to cheat. You got to give yourself some notes so that you keep those people connected to what they want and what they're telling you, right? Mm-hmm. So then, and for instance, if it's they love K-State, let's say, and K-State wins that day, I may send a text or I may call and say, "Hey, go Cats," whatever.
Right.
Just it's all those little things to tell them that you care.
Yeah. So speaking of relationships, I got one more sponsor I have to mention, Michelle. And I know so all these people that sponsor the Mortgage Punk Show, I know them personally. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about not only them, but about plugging them on the show, is because I'm able to share sponsorship information with viewers that I'm actually connected. I know them. They're not just paying dollars so we can pay for the show and get it out there. So, Matt and Natalie and Body, they own Vortex air duct cleaning services, where air quality matters. And so if you listen, you don't want to know what's in your ventilation system. I'm telling you right now, if you're buying a house or even if you own an existing home and you have not had someone hook up these gigantic hoses to your ventilation system and suck everything that's ever existed in that system out, you need to call Matt and Natalie in Body at Vortex so you can breathe fresh air and know that you're not breathing in someone else who lived there before you. Mm-hmm. So I highly recommend it. I did it to my house and I built a brand new home. And Michelle, I think they sucked out a 2x4.5. I heard it. It went boom, 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 boom through the system, or some broken drywall or something like that. But anyhow, they're fantastic people. I love them, know them personally very well. They will take super good care of you. They're very relationship-based people as well. So call Matt and Natalie at Vortex. Tell them Chris with Mortgage Punk sent you. So
also, I will say on that, a great closing gift is to gift that to your buyers. I did it at a house in Valley Center.
You did?
Using them. Mm-hmm.
You did? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yep.
I usually recommend it at closing with my buyers. Sure. Hey, a couple things I'd recommend you might think about, and they're one of them. So I hope that this episode with you and just hearing your story and how much you care about people will send a message to the listeners that matters a lot. And if you're not running your business that way, you should. And if you think you're running your business that way, then my question would be, are you really? So, because I do thank you cards, I got to do a certain number a week. I mean, it's part of my coaching program. So I sit down and no one, Michelle, can read my flipping handwriting. I'm telling you right now, my staff can't read my handwriting. So I just hope that when people see it, they just look at it and go, "Oh, that's nice of Chris," because I'm pretty sure they don't know what what you wrote, and they'll never be able to. No,
but that's good, because that is the important thing. I used to diligently do it for over 10 years, and I got lazy. I'll be honest, the last couple of years I got lazy. But I sent 5 personal notes a week.
5. Okay.
I would just go down.
And you just pick I met this person or whatever, just along your journey. Is that kind of how you did it?
If I hold an open house and I write them a note, that's one thing. But these are 5 out of people, my old prior clients.
Past clients.
Past clients. There you go.
Fantastic.
No. So you take your list and you just click on them. And I put the date of when I did it so that they're not getting, 2 in 1 year, whatever. Right. But you send 5 a week, and it can be anything, right? It can be that K-State game or that KU game or whatever. Yeah. You can send a note about that. It doesn't even matter. And I will tell you, one of the things Facebook I think is good for is connecting with those people. They show up on your feed and it says, "Oh, my daughter had a baby."
You know what's going on. Yeah.
You know what's going on. You can
baby.
write the card. Yeah. Or if, somebody passes away, you send a sympathy card. Mm-hmm. It's all of those things that show somebody that you care, because you read it on Facebook and you may comment. Okay. And then you're gone, but it's not the same. You actually made an effort to go get a sympathy card or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Pet passing away. Those are tough.
Sure.
Those are tough. And they make the cutest little cards for that. But anyway, you go get it, fill it out, stamp it, take it to the post office.
Where did you learn this?
I just think that's great.
Who taught you this? Or is this something you intuitively just implemented in your business?
Well, it's just something that I used to do, but I will tell you what backed it up for me. I just have always done that. I've always even
in life,
I would always write, and my mom, we always had thank you notes, and I always had to, anyway. So I think it was me, but what reinforced it for me was Ninja. Sure. I took a Ninja class, and probably I took my first one in maybe 2014 or something. And as I'm sitting there, it was kind of like deja vu on some of the things, because I'm thinking, well, I do that, but I didn't know how important that was, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was something I enjoyed doing. I liked doing it. Current was my favorite magazine. I had all kinds of stickers and whatever, but I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
But it really was. And that just reinforced it for me.
I'm a Ninja fan.
Mm-hmm. I like Ninja. Mm-hmm. Taken it a couple times.
Just to highlight your success a little bit, you're approaching $10 million in production this year, right? Mm-hmm. We're looking to exceed it.
I'll exceed that.
Is that kind of how it's going?
Yep.
So if you're listening to the show, look, guys, any real estate agent in the Wichita market that's producing $10 million a year in real estate production or more is up on the top. If you're looking for a realtor, a really good realtor, those are production numbers you want to be looking for, because those are going to be the real estate professionals that run serious business.
Right.
That, like Michelle, are very relationship based, truly care. They're not there just to sell you something or sell you into something. People can tell when you're doing that anyway.
Right.
So,
yep, they can.
But I think if you take good care of people, it all comes, it all comes full circle.
It does.
Right,
they
Michelle?
take care of you. When you take care of them, they take care of you.
I love that.
And referrals, and that means
I'm
the
writing
most.
that down, Michelle.
Yeah.
Hey, a Michelle saying for the day: when you take care of others, they will take care of you. That's fantastic.
Yep.
But I just sadly don't think that happens a lot. I didn't even, first big part of my mortgage career, 23 years, I didn't have anyone to sit down and mentor me in that way and really teach me how to run a serious business at a high level. Mm-hmm. Just didn't have it. So I just I was probably like a lot of realtors, just
getting the deal done.
Chasing another deal.
You were a Pop-Tart.
Loan I was a Pop-Tart with it. Hopefully, if I'm doing it right now, Michelle? What am I now? Did I morph from a Pop-Tart into, what would you call it now?
Well, I don't know. I hadn't thought about
dinner?
that. Yeah, there you go. There you go. No, I hadn't thought about that, but yeah.
That's funny.
Now I'm going to have to think of something.
What is, real quick as we close, what's one of the most difficult obstacles you've faced in life or in your real estate career?
In life, you say?
Yeah, like a dark night.
I would say it was both my parents passed away, and we had moved from West Wichita to where we live now to be closer so I could deal stuff with that. So I think it was really, they passed away within a year of each other.
Wow.
So that was, I'm going to say that was kind of a dark time where I had to really start thinking and focusing back on real estate. And that I think was a big, that was a big turn when you go, okay, life is short, right? And they were older, but still you just start thinking how short life is and how those relationships mean so much to you.
Yeah. What got you through it?
I think communication. It was talking to people. It was, I think, showing them that side of you. that was exposed, if
Right.
you will,
Being
because some
vulnerable.
people, because some people just hold it in, and you got to let it out, and you got to open up, and
So
and
you
it
didn't
helps people.
isolate yourself,
Yeah,
and you
right.
were open and transparent. And that helped
Absolutely.
you through that.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
What's one
So-
piece of advice you'd give to people watching? You have a lot of realtors watching this show.
Yeah.
Hopefully some homeowners and some home buyers and home sellers and people like that as well.
Sure.
What's one piece of advice you'd leave with them?
I would leave with you that for new agents, is that what you said? Or anybody,
Mhm.
work with somebody that you feel comfortable with,
Mhm.
whether you're buying, selling, mortgages, any of that.
Yeah.
And I would say be honest and ethical, because what comes around goes around.
Does. I believe that.
Yep.
100%.
Yep. And we don't always know. I'm a firm believer in you don't always know why something happens, but eventually you will.
If you do the right thing,
If you do the right
you
thing,
take good care of people,
you shouldn't be
you
worried
can't
about
mess
it.
up.
Yep.
You can't go wrong.
That's exactly. So-
Michelle, I appreciate you. I'm so glad I ran into you. You were featured on the cover of Real Producers. That's how we originally connected.
Right.
So Real
Yeah.
Producers is a real estate magazine in the Wichita market. Well, it's all over the country, actually.
Yeah, right.
But anyhow, Michelle was recently featured, I think in the August issue, weren't you? On the front cover of the August
it was August.
issue. So her story's there. If you want to look that up in Real Producers, you can look at her actual magazine story. And Samantha, who runs that magazine, does a phenomenal job. So it was a great story, a great write-up. I'm so glad I connected with you, Michelle. You're a ninja now. I know this.
Right.
Hiding right here in my backyard in Derby, Kansas.
That's right.
So thanks for being on the show. Thank you,
thank you.
sponsors, for
Yes.
sponsoring the show. And anyhow, look forward to connecting with you.
Me as well.
going
Thank you very
forward.
much.
So,
Thank
bet.
you. Had
All
a
right.
good time.
See you later. Thanks for watching, everyone. Peace out. Bye. I don't know. Is that a peace sign? Victory. Victory. Be like Winston Churchill.